Hello, class. My name is Krishna Kasada, and my presentation will be on gun control laws, gun reform laws, and the effects that guns are having in our society. This will be a comprehensive approach to gun reform and strategies for reducing gun violence in America. So one of the issues and current crises that faces our country and that has everybody talking about and every politician talking about is the ever increasing problem of gun violence. Gun violence has impacted not only our community but our country in many different ways. It's a threat to public safety. Gun-related homicides are on the rise. It's causing mental health issues. It's also causing more domestic violence victims, and racial minorities are affected ever more increasingly than any other community by gun violence. So public safety. Public safety is a big one. In recent years, gun violence has become a pressing issue affecting public safety and the well-being of citizens. Countries with higher rates of gun ownership experience higher levels of gun violence. A cross-national study of 27 countries found that gun ownership rates were positively associated with gun-related homicides. So gun-related homicides are on the rise. They've been a significant and persistent issue in the United States. Recent years, there has been a surge in gun violence, leading to thousands of lives lost and countless communities shattered. According to the FBI Uniform Crime Report, in 2010, there were approximately 8,897 gun-related homicides. By 2020, the number has risen to approximately 19,000. The number of mass shootings are also going up year by year. So if you look at this chart here on the right, in 2014, we had 273 mass shootings. 2016, 383. 2018, 336. 2020, 610. And as of 2023, there's already been 80 mass shootings. A mass shooting is defined as an incident in which four or more people were killed or injured by a gun. So a very hot topic in politics and in our current country is the ever increasing risk of mass shootings in America, especially in the public schools. One of the primary factors contributing to mass shootings in America is the easy availability of firearms. The United States has some of the most relaxed gun laws in the developed world, which make it easy for individuals to obtain firearms. In many cases, individuals who commit mass shootings obtain their weapons legally. In a study published by the American Journal of Public Health, researchers found that states with weaker gun laws had a higher risk of mass shootings as opposed to states with stricter laws. So, gun violence affects people's mental health. Direct victims of gun violence, such as those who are injured or threatened with a gun, often experience PTSD. PTSD is a mental health condition that arises from experiencing or witnessing traumatic events. The symptoms include intrusive thoughts, nightmares, a heightened emotional reactivity, and these effects can severely impact a person on their daily functioning life and well-being. A study of U.S. Army soldiers found that those with PSD and handgun ownership were more likely to experience suicidal thoughts than those without handguns. Another issue with the current state of our gun laws is their ability to ramp up a public domestic dispute and make it more violent. So, domestic violence is a pervasive issue that affects millions of individuals worldwide, regardless of age, gender, or socioeconomic status. Guns are often used as a tool of power controlled by the abuser, and research shows that the presence of gun in a domestic violence situation increases the risk of homicide by 500%. A study published by the Journal of Public Health found the abusers who had access to firearms were more likely to commit domestic violent homicides. The study analyzed data from 16 states and found that abusers with access to firearms were more than 5 times more likely to kill their partners as opposed to those without firearms. Also, gun violence disproportionately affects racial minorities at a greater level. Racial minorities are more disproportionately impacted by gun violence, both as victims and as perpetrators. A study published by the American Journal of Public Health found that Black Americans are more likely to be injured or killed by guns than white America. The study analyzed data from 2010 to 2014 and found that Americans had a gun homicide rate of 20.4 per 100,000, while white Americans had a rate of 3.4 per 100,000. Despite all these problems, there are solutions we can take to make our community safer and have a better future for our children. Some of these solutions include, first and foremost, need for gun reform laws, implementing background checks, and mental health support. So the first step we can take is gun reform laws. Gun reform laws have shown already a positive impact on gun violence throughout our country. Gun reform laws have been the forefront of policy discussions as a potential solution to the pervasive issue of gun violence. Red flag laws, for example, also known as ERPOs, have demonstrated success in reducing gun violence. These laws allow family members or law enforcement to petition a court to temporarily remove firearms from individuals deemed to be at high risk of harming themselves or others. When any politician talks about gun reform laws, you cannot divorce gun reform laws and the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees the right to bear arms. However, many people argue that gun reform laws will infringe upon this right. This argument is not entirely accurate. It is possible to implement reasonable gun reform laws that do not infringe on the Second Amendment. For example, banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines can also reduce gun violence without infringing on the Second Amendment. These weapons are designed for military use and have no legitimate civilian purpose. If we look at mass shootings in America, especially school shootings, they're all done with the AR-15, which is a military-style assault weapon. This weapon has no purpose in modern-day society. It's also not even a good weapon to use for hunting, and so many states and legislators are looking to ban these type of weapons. You can easily defend your home with a handgun and a low-capacity ammunition magazine. So right now we have politicians arguing to ban these assault weapons and remove them from the hands of civilians because they do belong in military settings. In addition, another solution we can take as a country is background checks. Background checks have been shown to be very effective in reducing gun violence. Background checks for firearm purchase have become widely debated policy in efforts to reduce gun violence. These checks are designed to prevent individuals with criminal histories, restraining orders, or mental health issues from accessing firearms. A study conducted by Castillo-Carnegie found that the states with comprehensive background check policies had a 14.9% reduction in homicide rates and a 35.2% reduction in firearm suicide rates compared to states without such policies. Safe storage laws, which require gun owners to securely store their firearms when not in use, have been linked to reductions in accidental shootings and youth suicides. And finally, mental health and support for gun violence could be a good solution we can start to implement. Mental health has been a big subject in recent times. There's also been a need for more medical professionals to be trained in mental health services. Mental health support plays a crucial role in addressing the pervasive issue of gun violence. By providing adequate resources and early intervention, it is possible to identify and treat individuals who may be at risk of committing violent acts involving firearms. Firearms are the most common method used in suicides in the United States, accounting for more than half of all suicide deaths. School-based mental health programs can be particularly effective in preventing gun violence among young people. By integrating mental health support into the educational systems, schools can identify at-risk students and provide them with the necessary resources and assistance, thus furthering and reducing mass shootings in our public school system. In conclusion, the need for gun control in the United States is evident. Implementing stricter regulations on firearm accessibility, strengthening background checks are all great solutions to reducing gun violence. It is possible to create a safer society with reduced gun violence while respecting the rights of responsible gun owners. The policy reforms can help address a public health crisis that has claimed far too many lives.